Game day's here, I can hear the crowd. Turn on the lights, fans are cranked up and loud. Red or blue, we wear it proud. Yeah, we love our teams in this border town. Chiefs and Royals, Boo Mizzou, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Hear that drum pounding in your feet. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of KC.
What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy, and the Kansas Jayhawks come out victorious inside Allen Fieldhouse, the greatest facility in all of college basketball. The fans showed up. It was an awesome game. Again, the Kansas Jayhawks would win 77-46. They really had a phenomenal showing in this game, as you would anticipate, against a lesser opponent in Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Now, heading into this game, we really anticipated a big turnaround, kind of a rebound game, as you would say, against a lesser opponent coming off of the loss to North Carolina. So I really anticipated a lot from the starters and would get to see a lot of the depth from this bench. Heading into the game, though, ladies and gentlemen, we would see that Darren Peterson was in street clothes as the team was warming up. We would later find out that he would not play this entire game. Bill Self, in his press conference, because that's when we would find out this information on Darren Peterson, would have to say this.
A few weeks ago, you said you were concerned about Darren. If you have an update tonight, and how was he feeling, and you have an idea?
Well, he played the whole game against Carolina. We were off Saturday, practiced Sunday, practiced Monday, and practiced today, this morning. But his hamstring was tight this morning. I'm not going to risk that. Hopefully, it's precautionary. On the reason why he did play. So I look forward to seeing him in practice on Thursday. At least we think that's the case. But it was tight after he practiced today. We practiced this morning at 10, and he practiced. So we didn't anticipate this, but at the end of practice, he said it was tight. So they told me no reason to go.
Now, unfortunately, Darren Peterson was dealing with a hamstring issue, which would hinder him playing. Like Bill Self said, he practiced and he, came up to him after practice and basically said the hamstring was flaring up. And Bill Self obviously does not want to take any risk with his star player. With Duke on the horizon, they do play Princeton next, and then it will be followed by Duke, and a few more games will be more impactful. So it only made sense, if that really is an issue with Darren Peterson, go ahead and sit him out against a lesser opponent. And that really gave an opportunity for this team to build. And I think it was a significant thing. Now, you don't want your star-studded player to have to sit out of a basketball game. You want to make sure that he's continually building, good relationships, basketball relationships on the court with guys that he's going to be playing with the rest of the season. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest emphasis that I have is that this team has no idea how to play when their leader is off the floor. When he's on the bench, they seem to struggle with leadership. They seem to struggle with who's going to take control. And we really saw kind of a different change in that tonight because they had to. Darren Peterson was not an option, ladies and gentlemen. So we were able to really see guys step up in a big way. Now, the starting rotation would be Cole Rosario, Flory Badunga, Trey White, Melvin Council Jr., and Elmarco Jackson would fill in for Darren Peterson. Now, we're going to break down and really talk about the box score because, ladies and gentlemen, this Kansas Jayhawks team played some phenomenal defense tonight. And I think that's a significant thing as we really are coming off of what I would say was a good first half against North Carolina and then more of an abysmal, less competitive half in the second half against North Carolina. So we really needed a rebound opportunity, and we saw that tonight. Cole Rosario, ladies and gentlemen, I think to me, was the player of the game tonight. He really shined. He did a lot more. He was a lot more aggressive. I feel like at times some plays were designed for him. He has so much bounce. He gets up. He is absolutely flying all over the court. He played 24 minutes. He was 6 of 10 from the floor, 2 of 6 from the three. He was 2 of 2 from the free throw. He did finish with 5 rebounds, so really contributing on the boards. He would only finish with 1 foul. He had 1 turnover, which I think is significant for a freshman. and he would finish with 16 points. Now, Flory Badunga, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be a little bit hard on him, and I'm going to stay positive because I think Flory is still getting kind of his feet going. As we'd expect him to kind of be the leader, a more polished player, he's still kind of learning the basketball game. He's still learning how to flow and play. And so he really kind of had an experience tonight. He went back to kind of his old ways. He had 3 fouls very early on in this game, and I believe he only played 8 minutes in the first half. He would finish with 19 minutes, but the thing is he would finish 6 of 7 from the floor. We know that Flory's not anticipating to shoot the 3 ball, so most of his points are going to come within real close to the basket, down in the paint. So 6 of 7. He did finish with 8 rebounds. He did finish with only those 3 fouls, so he kind of cleaned it up in the second half. He did have 4 blocks and 12 points. So really, I would say a decent showing, not the greatest showing. You know, in the game against Green Bay, Flory was a highlight. He had, you know, a season career high. He went out and played a phenomenal game. And Flory, obviously, in this game, we just recapped kind of his box score. Still would like to see a little more. Now, a guy that I was really intrigued to see again is Trey White. I'm still interested to see how he meshes and blends into this offense. He would play 22 minutes. He would go 3 of 3 from the floor, 1 of 1 from the 3-point line, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. He did finish with 6 rebounds and 11 points. He did have 4 assists. He did eliminate the 4 turnovers. He cut it in half down to 2. And so I'm excited to see that because I think Trey White is going to need to continue to build momentum and find ways to get involved in this offense. Bill Self, again, was super high on him coming out of the offseason into the regular season. He said Trey White is one of the highlights of this team. So again, I want to continuously see him evolve in this offense. Melvin Council played 24 minutes, was 2 of 7 from the floor. He did sustain a finger or multiple finger injury. I know they panned over to him on the bench at one time and he had 2 fingers taped up. So I think that probably impacted him a little bit from shooting, because even though it wasn't his shooting hand, you got to think, I mean, you got 2 fingers taped up and being able to handle a basketball, it can affect you for sure. So he was only 2 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 3 from the 3. He did, however, record 2 rebounds. He had 6 assists, which you would hope from your point guard. He did, however, had 3 turnovers and would only finish with 4 points. Omarco Jackson is one that I continue to watch because he's getting an opportunity to start in this game. And he played 20 minutes, was only 1 of 4 from the floor, 0 of 1 from the 3-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He did finish with 3 rebounds and would finish again with only 4 points. So El Marco, for someone who has had experience within this program, although he did sustain a pretty serious injury, he came back from that. You would expect El Marco to really kind of step up and be a guy that can do more than just 4 points and really contribute more. Bryson Tiller, ladies and gentlemen, again, a great showing from Bryson Tiller. Bill Self mentioned him in his post-game press conference, talking about how he really is excited about Bryson Tiller and what he can provide. 18 minutes, 3 of 6, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. It was a sweet 3-pointer. He would go 4 of 9 from the free throw line. He did finish with 8 rebounds, and he would have 3 blocks and 11 points. One of the big things from him was he fouled out against North Carolina. Now, tonight, he only had 2 fouls, so we saw a little bit more of an improvement from there. One of the big things I noticed with him is when the ball gets down low, he starts to kind of hack. He kind of wails at the ball to try to get, the ball free, force turnovers, and that's where he gets in trouble with the fouls. So I think some of that was eliminated this game, and so it was really nice to kind of see him, again, contribute 11 points. I mean, Bryson Tiller, ladies and gentlemen, is a special, special talent. 6'11", very athletic, flows and functions well within this offense. Bill Self even talked about him could potentially even being a starter. It's just the way the roster is designed. He has to come off the bench. Jaden Dawson, I was super excited for him. I had anticipated that we would see a little bit more minutes from him, especially playing a lesser opponent in Corpus Christi. He did have 20 minutes, 2 of 4 from the floor, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He would finish with 7 points. I mean, we're starting to see him take more threes. He did knock down that one, so it was nice to see him. Guy, and I call it Guy, but it's G, and Gala played 7 minutes. I mean, 6 points, ladies and gentlemen, 2 of 3 from the three-point line was a phenomenal, opportunity for him to get out there and get some points going and get rolling. It was nice to see G get out there and really kind of do his thing. In a market that never sleeps, one name rises above the rest. Lisa Miller from Dan Lynch Real Estate. Trusted by hundreds and recognized across the Midwest. She delivers results when it matters the most. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, looking to upsize, or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait, your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at 913-579-3246 or 913-000 or visit lisamillersellskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next exciting chapter. And let her know the beat of KC, Lucas Murphy, sent you her way. One of the guys that I've been mostly impressed, and he's flown under the radar, I feel like. And to me, he's really kind of garnished some more minutes, and that's Jamari McDowell. McDowell is playing some very quality minutes. Although he's not getting a ton of points, he's playing very effective defense. He's taking good, timely shots. He's not forcing shots. He was 1 of 3 from the floor, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. He did only finish with 3 points, but again, he had 3 rebounds, and he really is contributing good quality minutes when he gets in there. It's not going to be something that's going to be overpowering. We don't anticipate him scoring 20 to 25. That's just not his game right now. But Jamari McDowell, ladies and gentlemen, is super impressed. Now, Samus called around, ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes. He would only have 1 of 1 from the floor, and those 2 points came on a ferocious rim-rocking dunk that was just it shook Allen Fieldhouse, ladies and gentlemen. The crowd, the bench erupted onto the floor. It was a throwdown of the century. It was awesome to see. So excited to kind of see him get some minutes. And then Paul Mbaya, and then the rest of the team was the walk-ons. Mbaya would get 11 minutes, that mostly towards the end of the game with the walk-ons. He would only record 1 point. Now, flipping it over, and I'm only going to talk about kind of the key players that I talked about from really the beginning, and it'll demonstrate how well of a game this Kansas defense was just lockdown mode. Sheldon Williams came in averaging, I think, almost 17 points per game. I definitely touched on it in my pregame video. He would go 23 minutes. He was only 3 of 9 from the floor, and he would finish with 8 points. Now, their second leading scorer was Mason Gibson. He would log 23 minutes and only get 5 points. So really you can see that they locked down their premier players. And the first half was just phenomenal defense from this Kansas Jayhawks team. They held the Texas A&M Corpus Christi to 7 of 30. They only shot 23.3%. They were 1 of 9 from the three-point line and 11%. Incredible. Now, they would get 3 of 5. They shot 60% from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're locking a team down like that, there's a reason why you're up 20 at half. I mean, going into half, they were up 38 to 18. Kansas just dominated from the get-go, and it really just kind of led all the way to the end of the game. Now, Kansas in the first half was kind of impressive. They would shoot 15 of 26, 57.69%. They were 4 of 12 from the three-point line, so maybe nice to see a little bit uptick in that, but 4 of 12, and they were 4 of 8 from the free throw line, shooting 50%. In the second half, they were 12 of 24, 50%, would shoot 4 of 11 from the three-point line, which is 36%, and they would go 11 of 14, 78% from the free throw line. I love to see that, ladies and gentlemen. I always say 75% is the magic number. For them to shoot 78% in the second half was phenomenal. Now, in the grand total of the game, they shot 15 of 22 from the stripe. They were 68.2%. So again, that needs to improve, especially when you play teams like North Carolina. You got Duke coming up. You're going to have to hit those free throws, especially if you get to the stripe. I mean, you're getting fouls. Those are free points. You got to be able to knock those down. Now, in total, they shot 54% from the floor, and they were 8 of 23, 34.8% from the three-point lines. Need to see a little bit more improvement. If you're going to fire off threes, I understand you're not going to be 50% every game, but 34.8% needs to be a little bit more improved. This was an absolute showing by the Kansas Jayhawks. I mean, when you really look at it, second chance points, they had 9. There was no score tied times. I mean, from the get-go, from the first tip, Kansas really just took off. Points in the paint, Kansas really led with 36 points. Fast break points, they had 7. One of the biggest things was points off of turnover. They had 15. And their bench, obviously, with more opportunity because of the opponent they were playing, they had 30. I really just think that this was a great showing from the Kansas Jayhawks. The final thing I want to touch on, and I think is significant, is the Kansas Jayhawks had 18 turnovers. That was more than Texas A&M Corpus Christi. You would think a Kansas team playing in their house, the best basketball arena in all of college basketball, that environment would put a lot of pressure on an opponent like Texas A&M Corpus Christi. But unfortunately, the Kansas Jayhawks would turn the ball over 18 times, and that was led by Bryson Tiller, who had 4 in this game. So we need to improve that. There's no question, especially when you're going to start playing teams like Duke. And I was able to watch them against Army tonight, and that's going to be a very, very tough test. I mean, Duke is well-rounded. They have a solid freshman in Boozer. You know, his brother played pretty significant minutes tonight at playing a lesser opponent, but, you know, the main Boozer is just dominant, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going to be a tough play for this Kansas Jayhawks team. I don't want to get too far ahead, but those 18 turnovers are going to have to be dropped a little bit for sure. I appreciate y'all checking out this video. I appreciate all the support, ladies and gentlemen. You have given me so much support on this YouTube channel. I can't thank you all enough. The videos are going to keep coming, and so make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, share with all your friends, and I, again, end every video the exact same way. Have a good day.